Welcome to Golden Bachelor. If you love celebrity news and real entertainment updates, you're in the right place. From the very first moment she stepped out of the limo, no one, not even JoJo Fletcher herself, could have predicted how this story would end. What started as just another night on The Bachelor slowly turned into one of the most talked-about love stories the franchise has ever seen. A journey filled with laughter, doubt, jealousy, heartbreak, and ultimately, forever. JoJo walked into her season glowing with confidence, warmth, and that unmistakable smile that made everyone feel instantly comfortable. She had already captured America's heart before, but this time she was determined to follow her heart all the way. The mansion buzzed with excitement as the men arrived, each hoping to be the one who would change her life. Then Rodgers stepped forward, and everything shifted. From their very first interaction, the chemistry was impossible to ignore. It wasn't loud or flashy. It was calm, natural, and almost effortless. Their conversation flowed easily, filled with laughter and an instant sense of familiarity. When the first impression rose was handed out, many people in the room felt it. Something special had just begun. As the weeks passed, their connection only grew stronger. Group dates, quiet moments, stolen glances, it all felt different with Jordan. JoJo seemed lighter around him, more herself. They joked, teased each other, and shared conversations that felt less like a TV show and more like real life. But as strong as their bond was, it didn't come without complications. Jordan's background brought attention, opinions, and pressure. Rumors swirled, other contestants questioned his intentions, doubts were planted, and JoJo was forced to confront the hardest part of falling in love on national television, trusting your heart while everyone else has an opinion. There were moments when JoJo pulled back, visibly torn between what she felt and what she was being told. Conversations became heavier, emotions ran deeper, and through it all, Jordan stayed steady. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't over-explain, he simply showed up, again and again, choosing honesty and vulnerability over perfection. One of the most touching parts of their journey was how comfortable they were being real with each other. They talked about fear, they talked about family, they talked about life after the cameras stopped rolling. Their laughter felt genuine, but so did their serious moments. It wasn't just romance, it was partnership forming right in front of everyone. As hometowns arrived, the stakes grew higher. Meeting families brought new layers to their story. Jordan opened up about his past, his struggles, and his desire to build something meaningful. JoJo listened, not as a reality star, but as a woman imagining her future. You could see it in her eyes. This wasn't just a connection anymore. This was love taking shape. Still, the journey tested them. Jealousy, misunderstandings, and emotional exhaustion crept in. JoJo questioned herself. Jordan questioned whether he could truly reassure her in this environment. Yet every time things felt shaky, they found their way back to each other through conversation, laughter, and quiet reassurance. As the final days approached, the decision became clearer, even if it wasn't easy. JoJo stood at a crossroads, knowing her choice would change her life forever. And when the moment finally came, it wasn't dramatic chaos, it was calm certainty. Jordan stood there, nervous but hopeful. JoJo walked toward him with confidence, emotion written all over her face. Her words weren't rushed, they were sincere, thoughtful, and full of heart. She spoke about choosing love even when it's scary, about trusting what feels right, about believing in a future together. When she chose him, it didn't feel like a surprise, it felt like a promise fulfilled. But their story didn't end there. In many ways, that's where the real work began. Life after the show brought new challenges. Distance, busy schedules, and public scrutiny tested them in ways cameras never could. Yet, instead of pulling them apart, they leaned into each other. They built routines, they supported each other's dreams, they laughed through the chaos and faced the tough moments side by side. Fans watched as their relationship grew stronger with time, not weaker. No rush, no pressure, just two people choosing each other every day.
Years later, when Jordan finally proposed, it felt like the perfect reflection of who they had become together. Thoughtful, emotional, full of love. JoJo's answer was easy because their journey had already proven everything. Today, their story stands as a reminder that real love doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments, the shared laughter, the trust built over time. From that very first night to a lifetime together, JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rodgers didn't just find love on television, they built something real, lasting, and inspiring. And if this story proves anything, it's that when you follow your heart, even when it's scary, it just might lead you exactly where you're meant to be. If you enjoyed reliving this unforgettable love story, stay close. More iconic Bachelor moments and real romance stories are always waiting to be told. What makes JoJo and Jordan's love story stand out isn't just how it began, but how it kept growing long after the cameras stopped rolling. When the spotlight faded, they stepped into a world where fairy tales aren't scripted, and love requires effort, patience, and a lot of humor. Living together for the first time brought little surprises. Jordan discovered JoJo's love for decorating and creating a cozy home, while Jordan learned that Jordan could turn almost anything into a joke, even stressful moments. Their days weren't filled with grand gestures anymore, but with shared grocery runs, late-night talks, and laughing over things that only made sense to them. They didn't pretend everything was perfect. There were disagreements, moments of frustration, and days when life felt overwhelming. But instead of pulling away, they leaned closer. They learned how to argue without hurting each other, how to listen instead of react, and how to grow together instead of growing apart.
One of the most charming parts of their relationship was how playful it stayed. Whether they were teasing each other on social media or poking fun at their bachelor beginnings, they never lost that spark that first connected them. Jordan loved making JoJo laugh, and JoJo loved how safe and supported she felt with him, even in silence. Time passed, and fans noticed something special. While many reality couples faded away, JoJo and Jordan became stronger. Their love didn't feel rushed, it felt chosen. Every year together seemed to add another layer of trust and understanding. When the topic of marriage came up, it wasn't about pressure or expectations, it was about timing. They wanted to be sure, not because they doubted each other, but because they respected what they had built. Love, to them, wasn't a finish line, it was a journey. So when Jordan finally planned his proposal, it wasn't flashy, it was meaningful. Thoughtful details, personal touches, a moment that reflected their story rather than a TV moment. JoJo's reactions said it all. Tears, laughter, disbelief, and absolute certainty wrapped into one unforgettable yes. Their wedding day felt less like a spectacle and more like a celebration of everything they've been through. Surrounded by friends, family, and years of memories, they promised to keep choosing each other on the good days and the difficult ones. Today, their love story continues quietly but confidently, building a home, supporting each other's careers, dreaming about the future while appreciating the present. They've shown that love found on reality TV can be real, not because it started there, but because it was nurtured afterward. From nervous smiles on the first night, to inside jokes only they understand, to a life built on trust, laughter, and commitment, JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rodgers remind us that real love isn't about perfection, it's about connection, it's about showing up, and it's about choosing each other even when no one is watching. And honestly, that's the kind of love story that never gets old. As the years went on, JoJo and Jordan slowly became one of those couples people pointed to and said, that's what real love looks like. Not because everything was perfect, but because everything was honest. They learned how to grow as individuals without growing apart, and that balance became the quiet strength of their relationship. They supported each other's dreams in ways that felt effortless. When one of them felt unsure, the other stepped in with reassurance, humor, or a simple reminder of how far they'd come. Jordan was JoJo's biggest cheerleader, and JoJo was his steady ground. Together, they created a partnership where success was shared and struggles were faced side by side. What fans loved most was how normal their love felt. They weren't constantly trying to prove anything. They posted silly moments, playful arguments, and behind-the-scenes glimpses that showed a couple genuinely enjoying life together. Whether it was joking about home renovations, laughing at old bachelor memories, or teasing each other over the smallest things, their bond always felt real. They also learned the importance of protecting their relationship. Not every moment was shared. Not every challenge was explained. Some things were just for them, and that privacy helped their love stay strong. In a world that constantly watched, they chose each other over noise. Marriage didn't change who they were, it deepened it. The commitment brought a new sense of calm and confidence. They moved through life knowing they were on the same team. Decisions felt easier. The future felt exciting instead of uncertain. There were quiet mornings filled with coffee and conversation, and long nights spent dreaming about what was next. They talked about family, goals, and the life they wanted to build together. Every plan came back to the same idea: doing life as partners. Looking back, it's hard not to smile at how it all started. A single moment, a simple conversation, a first impression that turned into a lifetime choice. What began as a chance meeting turned into a love story shaped by patience, laughter, and unwavering trust. Their journey reminds us that love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. It grows slowly, steadily, and beautifully over time. And even now, their story continues, unfolding in everyday moments that matter most. Because the greatest love stories aren't just about how they begin, they're about how they last. With every new chapter, JoJo and Jordan proved that lasting love is built in the in-between moments, the ones no camera ever captures, the everyday choices, the small compromises, the shared laughter that turns an ordinary day into something memorable. They became each other's safe place. When life felt loud, home felt calm. When work was demanding, support was constant. Jordan learned how JoJo thinks before she even says a word, and JoJo could read Jordan's mood just by the way he walked into the room. That kind of understanding doesn't happen overnight. It's earned through time, patience, and choosing love even on the quiet days. Friends often describe them as the couple that just worked, not because they tried to impress anyone, but because they genuinely enjoyed each other's company. They laughed easily, they listened fully, and they never forgot to have fun together. Even after years, they still flirted like it was the beginning. Inside jokes, playful teasing, and that familiar look that says, "You're my person." They also grew wiser together. Past mistakes became lessons. Challenges became shared experiences. Instead of letting stress pull them apart, they used it as a reason to grow closer. They learned that love isn't about winning arguments, it's about protecting the relationship. What made their story so inspiring was how grounded it stayed. No rush to prove anything, no need for constant validation, just two people building a life with intention, a life filled with warmth, respect, and genuine affection. Sometimes they'd look back and laugh at how nervous that first night felt, how uncertain everything seemed. And yet every step, every doubt, every emotional conversation led them exactly where they were meant to be. Their love didn't just survive the spotlight, it matured beyond it. And as time continues, their story reminds us of something simple but powerful. Real love isn't found in perfection, it's found in partnership, in choosing each other again and again, in growing together without losing yourselves. From a single spark to a lifelong bond, JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rodgers didn't just fall in love.
Their story also became a quiet reminder that love can be both steady and exciting at the same time. With JoJo and Jordan, romance didn't fade into routine. It evolved into something deeper, warmer, and even more meaningful. The butterflies turned into comfort, and the excitement turned into trust. And somehow, that felt even better. They celebrated milestones in simple ways. Anniversaries weren't about grand displays, but about reflection, looking at each other and realizing how much life they'd already shared. Birthdays became excuses for laughter and surprises that felt personal, not performative. Even ordinary weekends felt special because they were spent together. One of the most beautiful things about their relationship was how they handled change. Careers shifted, opportunities came and went. Life moved faster at times and slower at others, but through it all, they stayed aligned. They talked things through. They made decisions as a team. And no matter what direction life pulled them in, they always found their way back to each other. They also never lost appreciation for how rare their connection was. JoJo often spoke about feeling seen and understood, while Jordan valued the sense of peace and belonging he found with her. They didn't take love for granted. They protected it. They nurtured it. Every once in a while, fans would remember where it all began, and so would they. A smile would appear, a laugh would follow, and there was always that quiet gratitude for a journey that started unexpectedly but led to something real. What makes their love story linger in people's hearts is how human it feels. No fairy tale perfection, just honesty, effort, and two people who chose to grow together instead of apart. And even now, their story keeps unfolding, not in dramatic moments, but in everyday love, in shared dreams, in mutual respect, in the comfort of knowing that the person beside you is exactly where they want to be. From a chance meeting to a lasting partnership, JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rodgers continue to show that love isn't just something you find once, it's something you choose every single day. As time moves forward, their love continues to deepen in ways that feel both effortless and intentional. JoJo and Jordan understand that relationships aren't held together by big moments alone, but by consistency, the small gestures that quietly say, "I'm here." They make space for each other's individuality while still feeling like a team. Jordan brings humor and lightness into the room, always ready with a joke or a smile when things feel heavy. JoJo brings warmth and steadiness, grounding their life together with care and thoughtfulness. Together, they balance each other in a way that feels natural, not forced. They've learned how to show love in everyday ways, checking in during busy days, celebrating small wins, and offering comfort without being asked. Sometimes love looks like adventure. Other times it looks like sitting side by side, doing nothing at all, and feeling completely content. What's most touching is how their respect for each other has only grown. They speak with kindness, even in disagreement. They protect each other's feelings. They choose empathy over ego. And that mutual respect becomes the foundation that everything else stands on. Looking back, it's almost impossible to imagine one without the other. Their journey has woven their lives together so seamlessly that it feels like this was always meant to be. Yet they never forget how it all began, with uncertainty, hope, and a leap of faith. Their story quietly challenges the idea that love needs drama to be real. Instead, it shows that peace can be powerful, that stability can be romantic, and that laughter shared over years can be just as thrilling as any grand gesture. And so their love story continues, not because it has to, but because they want it to, because they choose each other in the present, not just in memory. From the first spark to a lasting flame, JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rodgers remind us that love doesn't just happen once, it keeps happening every day you choose it. Thanks for watching Golden Bachelor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next big story.